Welcome to Racing Roots with Ham.
If you don't know our host, David Ham, he's a 25-year NASCAR veteran, engine builder, and jackman.
Live every Monday evening, we have a new guest
From the racing world with their stories, their paths,
their racing roots.
Sponsored by Jersey Cape Yachts.
Now here's our host, David Ham.
And good evening, everyone. All right. Hey, fortunately, I had Harold's mic turned off, but I can hear him in the background.
I'm not getting any feedback on my headset. Why not?
You're not? Okay, I'll turn you up here in just a moment.
Some things never change. All right, go ahead, David.
Yeah, like
Do I need to take over the show?
the mentality of this crowd.
Here, people.
Oh, you know why you're not having any feedback?
Why is that?
I don't know. That's a good question.
You hearing me okay? I'm not hearing you correctly. I should be getting something in my headset. I'm not getting anything.
You are correct. You should
My fan
be.
club is meeting downtown in the phone booth, so stand by. I'll be out there in a minute.
Is that better?
No, I'm not.
All right, I'm going to turn your headphones up. So just be patient.
Try it again.
You said
That's
they were
better.
good. Yeah, okay.
Ah, thank you, David.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Now we're set to go.
Well, Phil's over here. We got Phil Cavalli in the house.
Phil, last time I was
There
here,
you go.
Phil was here.
Yeah.
Phil escorted me out when I left and said, "I'll see you, Phil." He said, "No, you won't. You're not coming back."
We were glad to have you back, Harold.
Okay,
It was 1 year ago
Was
this
it
week, wasn't
really?
it, David?
It was January the 5th.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh!
and
huh?
you need to go back if you haven't seen that episode, because as much as we tried to stuff his NASCAR in there, we had Harold quite the political view, which it was an
that's part of
epic
it.
show.
Turn me up a little bit, David. Thank you, my friend. A little bit more. Introduce. We got several guests here. David's lovely wife is here.
Tracy,
She's got the hands on that button that says "shut it down immediately." What does that mean?
she controls the button.
Who is
That's
this
right.
sitting next to you, Dave? Is this your son?
No, this is Bryson.
Bryson
Yes.
is
Hey, Bryson, how you doing? I like that mullet hairdo. Thanks, man. I was going to have one of those, but my hair got so long.
Patrick
My-
Swayze the third.
He does look like Patrick Swayze a little bit.
sure
I like
does, yeah.
do some dirty dancing for me. Get out here.
Harold's the legendary sportscaster in the Charlotte area. What, from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, Harold?
Somewhere along there, Phil.
Yeah.
That
Is
was,
it 26 years?
26, 36, something like that. It
Legendary.
started in 1970. And we had a great run. I still bump
you
into
did.
people that say, "Harold, we miss you on TV," and I just give them a hug. I don't worry about the virus. I've had 2 shots. Somebody says, "Get a third." We got booster for what? We got people lined up. Do you see these lines of people? These are people that aren't having any symptoms. You don't need the shot if you don't have symptoms, folks. I feel sorry, but where's Fauci? Get that son of a bitch on here. I'm sorry. I apologize. He's the guy. Remember Dr. Fauci, folks? The first one who said it. Hey, folks, there's a virus going around, but we don't think it's coming to America. Oh, that movie with Eddie Murphy, Coming to America. Is that what you're talking about, you dumbass?
That's it.
Then he comes back again a month later, less than that. Slight correction on that. It's coming to America. My bad. I won't admit I made a mistake, but it's not going to be that bad, folks. It's coming, but not bad. A month later, folks, I don't know who that was that said it wasn't going to be bad. It's pretty bad. You better start getting your shots. Now people are lined up. Now. They feel good, but they're lined up to have a test to see if they had the virus. That's not the way it's run. They're changing that now. They're changing that now.
Lemmings.
It's ridiculous. We get one word from the White House, we get another word from Pataki, we get another word from Fauci, and no wonder people are confused and upset and angry, and a lot of people are scared out there because we're not sure. If you've got the virus and you start feeling bad, then get tested if you can possibly do that. My grandson's in Atlanta. He's waiting 5 days. He took a test for last week sometime.
Yeah.
He can't get the results. Well, hello.
Yeah.
Well, what are we talking about here? And people are getting nervous, folks. I've had 2 shots. Somebody said, "You get a boost." I said, "Hey, I get a boost every morning I wake up. I'm good."
Yeah,
there you go.
So we just chill out. We're going to make it. This is America. I know times have changed. These radical lunatics in Washington, this liberal crowd, the squad, the squid, make some squid out of the squad. That's what I say we do. Hello, America.
Yes.
All right. So speaking of you were talking about the virus. I asked you last time you were here if you took your vitamin D, but you said you wasn't taking it anymore. But now they're saying that actually helps with the.
Yes.
But
yes.
you know, another thing that you do is you go golfing. You're out in the sun a lot too.
Yeah, but I'm lucky to be here, guys, because in June, I spent almost the entire month at Baptist Hospital.
Oh.
I said, what happened? I'll give it to you briefly. I don't mind talking about my health. I'm 80 years old, almost 81, feel good right now. Thank you to the wonderful doctors at Baptist Hospital. Now, here's the thing. I had fallen off a brick wall 3 feet That's from up in the air, flat on my back.
Yo.
Okay, about 6 months prior to May 31st, Memorial Day. I didn't think that much about it. Everything was okay. I got up. I said, I'm fine. I'm fine. Well, as it turns out, about 6 months later, I start to get a little shakiness in my hand. My daughter says, we're going to Ardell Memorial Hospital. I get over there very quickly. The sirens are going off. They're sending me up to Baptist Hospital. 2 days later, I had a subdema hematoma. Blood was building up around my brain. What little bit I had. I had to question the doctor when he said, you got blood around the brain. So people told me I've been a dumbass. I don't have a brain. He said, no, trust me, you do. We'll take care of it. I said, while you're doing that, check my back. My back has been sore for 6 months. He does the surgery on my brain. I'm fine. Every good. He comes back with the x-rays of my back. He said, how long has this been bothering you? I said, about 6 months. He said, you have 4 fractured vertebrae. You literally have a broken back. You've been trying to play golf and swim and do yard work, and I could barely crawl out of bed. But hey, ex-Marine, I can handle that pain. That's what it's all about.
There you go.
Yeah, so I get treated for that, get 8 screws put in my back. My back's as good as new now. So thank God for wonderful doctors in our great country. Keep out turning out the Baptist Hospital is so fantastic and so good. So now I'm good, I'm healthy. And David, what you were talking about, vitamin D, yeah, that's good to get. I probably ought to get back on it, but I'm doing good with what I'm living with now with no pain. Thank God for that. And I know a lot of people are suffering out there, folks. I can only empathize with you. And I've given the name of my doctor for Alexander Powers at Baptist Hospital to several of my friends who have back issues. The man is great. And so I hope you're feeling better, and we'll get through this together. We have to. We can't fail. This is America, for crying out loud.
That's right.
World War II, Korean War, Vietnam fiasco, 56,000 wonderful Americans died and alive from Lyndon Johnson. What was his line about a North Vietnamese gunboat fired on an American vessel? Gulf of Tonkin incident was a damn lie. It was an outright lie. His Secretary of Defense had to go before the Congress and apologize for lying to Congress about it too as well. But we survived that. We survived so many other things. We will survive this as long as we don't cower. And be wary of these politicians, folks. They're looking out for themselves and only themselves. Not you, not me, not anybody here. Make your own judgments. Make your own decisions, okay? And don't cower. Don't be strong. We've got to be strong. And we can do this, damn it. I know we can.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just heard the acceptance speech of Harold Johnson for the 2024 election.
I tried. I tried in 2010. I ran in 2010, but couldn't. A Democratic district, which hurt me a little bit. But hey, I have friends that are Democrats, and we talk politics a little bit. But for the most part, we love America. I love my great country. It's given so many people opportunities. And if you don't like it, I really believe it. For the squad, the squid. If you don't like it, get the hell out.
There you go.
Yeah, and people, I want people to stand tall for America.
Yeah.
We got wimps in our country now. Well, we've got damn wimps out there. Oh, don't call me a bigot. Oh God, no, please don't call me a racist because I said this about this person. This person was a damn liar. Oh God, help me. All right. Stand up for what you believe in. Okay.
That's right. Point taken, Harold. Thank you very much. Hey, let's just rein this in. Let's start talking about some racing. But first,
yes.
I'm from Charlotte originally.
Yeah, you are. Where'd you live in Charlotte?
West Side.
Oh, okay. You're a tough guy.
Do you remember this year? That's right. Do you remember that year?
Harding?
Yeah, 1987.
Harding Rams?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was, I'm trying to think of the coach.
Yeah.
Knotts, was it Tommy Knotts?
That's right.
My brain, folks, I'm 81 years old.
Man, you got it.
My brain, what are you smelling it for, David?
You got it, man. So, yeah, this
Is that your jacket?
That's mine.
Did you play for him?
I did.
Oh gosh, that was a good year.
It was.
And Harding's going on to do a lot of great things.
Yeah.
What positions you play?
I would play the tight end and wide receiver.
Oh my gosh.
Tight end
What was your senior year? What was your record?
Well, I ended up not going back my senior year because I had a baby instead.
Okay,
so
that's fine. What was your junior year?
They were going to hook me up. Well, I got 8 catches in one game.
Oh, good for you. What was your overall record?
I don't know.
Team.
I don't know.
Do you remember?
No, but I'll tell you a story.
All right, let me hear
team.
it.
I'm sorry, the team. We were 15-1 or 14-1.
And Tommy went on to great things at Independence High School.
Yeah.
With the Patriots. Well, tell me a good story.
Yes, he did. Yes. So whenever Tommy, Coach Knotts, as I know him,
sure, everybody knew him as that.
Yeah, he was a tough guy.
He was really in subcold weather. He'd be out in shorts.
Yes, he always wore shorts.
Yeah. I love Tommy. I love Tommy.
He would go in and grab our lineman. He'd grab him by the helmet and bang his head on theirs, and he'd have blood coming down.
I know.
But one of the things that he did, he grabbed a big bag of balls and brought them out and told me to come out and follow him. And this is when I was still on JV. And I was about to move up, but I would have moved up sooner had I done what he wanted me to. But he had me kick some balls. One of the other coaches saw me punting and which is what I did on the JV team.
Okay.
But when I had to stand
What was
across,
your average kick, would you say?
I don't know.
50, no,
I was
50,
thinking,
probably 45, 40,
yeah, that's
40
probably
maybe.
about right.
I get you to kick from my Eagles. We're hurting for a good punter right now. Yeah, I love my Eagles, folks. All right, go ahead.
So whenever he had me go out there and line up in front of him and kick him some balls, I just didn't do very well at all.
Oh.
It was intimidation, Coach Knox.
Really?
Yeah, and so
I would think you'd want to impress the coach.
Well,
Here we go. I'm going to fall on my butt after this kick.
So I learned a valuable lesson in life. So then whenever it come time for me to be a jack man, I was like, all right, I'll learn from that.
Yes,
You have to block everything else out. Just don't even think. Just do what you know to do and don't think about it.
So when you're kicking after 10, 15 yards, just stumping them around, what do you finally say? Hey, go pick up the balls and pack it in.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. That's about all there was to it, you know. He went on, but he ended up moving me up as a tight end about probably right before playoffs. So I ended up going
that's good for you. That's a great memory, David. Great memory.
And remember Coach Rigo?
Yes.
Coach Rigo was our baseball coach, but he never let me live that down. He was like, the coach gets you out there. I'll put a word in for you, and you go out there and your butthole tightens up like this.
I know,
whatever.
Good tight sphincter right there. Never hurt anybody. But when you're trying to kick with a tight sphincter, that's a tough thing to do.
That's it. So that's my story.
That's
for
great,
the day.
David. I love it. It's a fun memory. It's a fun memory. But I had great memories in Charlotte. Friday night football that we really started. They were covering one game on Friday night. I said, when I first went over there from Channel 3, I said, why can't we cover 5 or 10? What do you mean? We can't stay for the whole game. No, you win. You get one play from each team, and you come out and you go to another game. Yeah. And now it's like 15 or 20 games on a Friday night. Very proud to have had a good crew to work with down in Charlotte. That was wonderful. Yeah. Very good for me too. Helped me out in my career.
That's why I brought that. I figured you were the guy back then, that talked about all the sports and stuff. And I know, especially you included wrestling in your deal. Yeah. And you included NASCAR.
Oh, well, we did. We could. Yeah. In fact, I got to get home tonight by 8 o'clock to watch wrestling on Monday night. I love that show on Monday Night Wrestling. Yeah. Not quite as good as it used to be, but I mean, it's still, hey, I appreciate the athleticism. Yeah. Okay? I know what it is, folks. I know it's showbiz, but I mean, don't throw me off that top rope and tell me it doesn't hurt. Oh, my man Ric Flair will tell you that. He'll tell you that for sure.
Did you see our Ric Flair last time you were in here? Grab that, pull that banner back.
Oh, I saw. Yeah, we did something about that. I talked to Tommy Young, the 10-time NWA wrestling referee of the year. There it is. Woo! I talked to Tommy last week. He talked to Rick a few weeks ago. Rick's doing fine. I think living in Atlanta, and he's doing fine. But there he is, folks. Yeah. Was there anything any better, any bigger than Ric Flair? Gosh, what a showman.
Great personality.
What a showman. Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, how cool is that?
And it's different now. I mean, just like racing's different now. Yeah. It's not the personality. It's don't wreck me, I won't wreck you, let's make money.
So speaking of that,
I don't fault that. But I mean, that to me, it's not. I compare it to what I knew. Yeah, when I was working down there, it was out there to win. If I knocked you out, tough luck. If you can get me out, then try it.
Get you next time.
I want to win. And money, I get a check. That's nice too. But winning, I want to win. Give me an Earnhardt.
Those are good old tough boys.
The most competitive person in any sport I've ever seen. Dale Earnhardt. I rated him up there with Michael Jordan in the NBA, Pete Rose in baseball. The list goes on and on. But Earnhardt. Dale, I've never seen a man driven. He would do it for nothing. He would do. That's True exactly grit. Right. There, inside that man was the heart of a champion, and I'm gonna beat you. If you beat me, good luck. I don't know how you did it, but you won't next time. Yeah. And I, you know what? That was my feeling when I was doing sports. To get the number one, to get the story straight, get the story number one. I can't imagine what it was like to be in a competitive situation and not compete. Yeah. And not compete. If I'm competing against you, and that was the story. I didn't dislike the people I was working against at other stations, but I'm going to get that story. I'm going to get that story first, and by God, we'll get it too, because we had good friends, good sources, and never revealed a source, never burned a source, boys. That's the key to it, to getting good information. Never burn it. But people will tell you stuff, Harold, you know the game. I sure do. I never mention your name, and I don't talk in my sleep either. I put a zipper on my mouth at night. That's a fact.
And that's all in one breath, ladies and gentlemen. Harold, tell us how you feel about the 2021 season that just happened, since we've seen you a year ago.
Well, I think I'm happy for Kyle Larson. I liked him. He had some difficulties too, as well. Had to overcome certain things. Got a little heavy on the mouth, and you know, people that have self-inflicted wounds, you've got to be careful. You got to be careful what you say.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I was lucky in my career. Somebody figured out how long I talked on the air for 20 or 30 years. I never had to apologize
Mm-hmm.
because I never said anything negative or nasty that would warrant an apology. I mean,
And nothing was taken in that
that's
way
exactly.
either.
That's exactly. And some now guys get heavy on the mouth, or anybody can get heavy on the mouth. But Larson, Kyle's a darn good driver, and I was happy to see him win the points championship.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a caller on the line.
We got a caller. I paid somebody to call in.
Okay.
Thank you for your comment. I appreciate that, sir.
Okay. It's all
Well,
good.
feel free to call. Tell them, David, give them the phone number.
Oh, I got this. I'll actually. Okay. So.
What are you laughing at? Share the laugh.
No, I can't right now.
Oh, okay.
All right. So here's what I want to do. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the 1978. Do you remember talking about Willie T. Ribbs just getting basically kicked out of the car, or he disappeared from?
Oh yeah, going
Charlotte
the wrong
Motor
way
Speedway.
on a one-way street.
Yeah, pretty much.
Willie but Willie was a good guy. I interviewed him, and you know, he was fine. But that was a joke, standard joke, and the fact he's going the wrong way on a one-way street, and he got stopped or something like that. But
But what, do you remember what happened after that? So he ended up getting replaced.
Yeah, he got
that year. In 1978.
He lost his ride, and but we don't know how good he would have been, or could have been, perhaps. I don't know.
Well, he's not calling. Don't worry about that.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. But he was given a good opportunity. There was there was pressure there. When women were trying to get involved in NASCAR too, there was pressure there on them to try and see what they could do. And the guys, I think, treated couple of the women with respect and said, hey, if you can drive the race car, whether it's Indy, Charlotte Motor Speedway, or anything else, welcome to the competition, see what you can do. But I mean, things change, and you got to accept change.
Right.
If you don't accept change, you can't accept the change that goes with you changing your life or whatever it might be.
There we go.
Okay.
All right. Hey, go ahead, caller.
It's Will.
Hey.
Will, I can barely hear him.
Oh, hey, Will.
How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. About yourself?
I'm doing good. Dave told me to call this evening to talk to Harold about his discussing with me the change from Willie T. Ribbs to Dale Sr.
Oh, well, when the move is made, everybody was like not surprised. But I mean, that's just were you a big fan? Who'd you like, Will?
Well, I was Dale Earnhardt's crew chief. Am I talking to somebody that's on the David Ham show?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are.
Well, this is Will Cronkite calling in.
Will Cronkite.
Is he related to Walter?
No, it's not a Cronkite.
We run him out of the family for being a black sheep.
Hey, listen. Hey, Will, you had some good times with my man Dale. I love Dale so much, and we did a lot of good things together. And if he considered you his friend, you know how loyal he was, Will. He was
extremely loyal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I told the story the last time I was on. Somebody said, "You have any?"
Am I talking to somebody that's on
is that a replay?
It's on the. He's got his radio turned up.
Turn your radio down, Will.
So this is Will Cronkite. He's the guy that owned the car, the '96 car.
Turn your radio down, Will.
Hey, Will, you have.
Yeah, turn that down if you can, Will. We're getting some feedback.
Yeah. That's better. Turn it down, Will.
I don't know how to turn you down on my cell phone.
Oh, okay. Well, the story I tell about Dale Earnhardt. Part him down for a minute. Part it down for a minute.
All right.
The story I tell, people said, any regrets over the years, Harold? I had one regret, and it was with Dale Earnhardt. Dale went to New York for the dinner, big dinner, NASCAR's dinner, and somebody called me and said, Harold, ask Dale to hold up his right hand when you're interviewing him tonight. And I said, why is that? He said he had a deer on the farm, a deer that was his pet deer. The deer would come to the house every evening. Dale would hand feed the deer. One of the guys that worked for Dale shot and killed the deer. Dale punched the guy so hard in the face, he broke his hand, had his hand in a cast. And I did something that I've regretted and I've thought about every time I think of Dale. I said, hey, Dale, hold up your right hand. Tell me what happened. And he held up his right hand. I said, what happened? I didn't say what happened. I asked him to tell me. He said, oh, it was a farm accident. So, but I regret it because I set him up. But he handled it well. He was smart enough to say, I punched the guy. But that deer was his favorite. animal, and that guy shot that deer and killed the deer.
Yeah.
And Dan would have done the same to him if he had.
Will, have you ever heard that story? Hey.
Is Will gone?
Yeah. Probably so. We're getting a lot of feedback from his phone there because he would.
Yeah.
He was watching it or listening to it somewhere. So sorry about that, Will. We'll have to get you back on. Maybe I can call you.
Well, that's
Otherwise.
fine. That's you want to take more calls? If people can call and win, we're talking NASCAR. We're talking the great sport that it is and how it's changed. I was part of the transition from the boys, the Waltrips, the Earnhardts, the Wallaces. I mean, just go out and get it. Just go get it. Get that win. If a check comes with it, I'll cash it, and let's move on for the next race. Now it's all about don't wreck me. I won't wreck you. Let's make money. I don't follow that. That's why attendance is down.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to – I hate to say this. I don't know how long the sport's going to last. I mean, revenue's down. Attendance is down. What's out there? Just to see cars run around the track? I can't.
Well, it's still big money.
I watched the races. I watched
Hey there.
Talladega and the big races, Daytona.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey there. Hey, how are you, sir?
Who's on the phone? Who we got?
Harold Johnson.
Yes, it's me. Let me double check. It's me.
No, wait a minute. It's me.
Who is this?
I'm disguised as Humpy Wheeler.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Is that Humpy?
That's Humpy.
Humpy Wheeler.
Hey, Harold.
How
you doing?
Oh, the greatest promoter and friend of all time, my good friend, Humpy Wheeler. Humpy, how are you?
Yep.
Well, it's great to hear your voice again.
Well, it's great to hear you. I want you to take over this show. Tell me some of the greatest moments you had with Earnhardt and Waltrip and that whole crowd. Tell me one of the best stories that we don't know about Dale Earnhardt. Let me hear it.
Well, let's see. It was probably at the Columbia Speedway.
South Carolina.
And I was down there to watch his father Ralph race.
Okay.
Or as we used to say, Raph.
Okay. Raph. Yeah, like Richard Petty. Richard. Maurice called him Richard. Okay, go ahead, Humpy.
Yeah, and I was down there to watch Raph race, and this little kid, Dirty, from the ankles up, kid, was down there, and he says, Daddy, you want me to change that tire?
Oh, gosh.
And Ralph said, ain't nothing wrong with that tire. And the little dirty kid said, it got a hole in it. And sure enough, it did. It was going down slow. And that little kid was Dale Sr.
Wow.
Humpy, nobody knew Dale Sr. like you, and because you were, without question, the premier promoter of all time. You put this racing ticket on the map. What you did at the Speedway was unbelievable. Always promoting, always looking for grand things that happen. Tell me a good story about Darrell Waltrip, one of my favorites.
Well, he's supposed to be on a radio show at like 7 o'clock in the morning. The boy don't like to get up early.
Right, because he stayed out all night. Well, not really, but yeah, his daughter's a lawyer, I think, went to Vanderbilt. That's great.
Yeah, and so I said, I called him. I said, you better be up. He said, why? I said, because if you're not, I'm going to come over there and shoot you. He hadn't been running very long. And he says, well, all right, tell me where I got to go. I said, you can't go. Pick the phone up and call this number. Well, he did, and it was a good interview. It might have been you, Harold. I don't know.
It could have been on WBT radio or something like that. Humpy, there are so many great things you did at that Speedway with Davey Allison. I remember when Davey had his wreck and crashed into the wall, and they put him in the hospital. And I called over there to the hospital, and I talked to his beautiful wife, and I said, hey, it's Harold Johnson. I'm just checking on Davey to see how he's doing. If he's up to an interview, I'd like to come over to the hospital and interview him. Well, the next thing, he gets out of the hospital 2 days later. He's holding a press conference, and he blasts me for being rude to his wife. And I said, what are you talking about? All I did was, I answered him on the air that night. I said, Davey, all I did, I didn't ask your wife for a date. I just said, can I come over there and talk to you if you're feeling okay? But he insisted I was rude to his wife, and I apologized over and over again and said, no. But hey, Hoppy, what do you see as the big difference between the way you did it and the way they ran the race cars back then and the way they do it now? I have a hard time getting excited about what they're running today, because back then the personalities dominated the race.
Oh, they did. Now it's the cars. If you can you can't tell them apart, but they're going to make some changes in that. And
what kind of changes? What kind of changes?
They've changed the bodies. They've changed the chassis, everything. They had a test in Charlotte last week, and to find out. And now, if you're, oh God, I hate to mention it, Junior Johnson,
I love
not
Junior.
your cousin.
No,
because I know where you're from, Harold, and you're not from Clingman, North Carolina, originally.
The great state of New Jersey. The great
that's
state
not
of
far
New
from
Jersey.
Statesville.
No, that's good. But Humpy, I mean, you still can't change the personalities. That's what really we had going when you were promoting, and we had incidents and altercations, and Dale blowing people off the racetrack, whether it's Richmond or anywhere else. I mean, that was just hard racing because of the competitive nature of what they had then. Right now, Humpy, I really believe it's don't wreck me, I won't wreck you. We'll race, yeah, but we all want to get a safe and sound paycheck when it's over.
Well, we got a lot of awful fancy boys racing now.
Yeah, well, and they're good. They're good. I'm not knocking them, but I'm just saying that's not the way I remember racing. I'm sorry, I just can't change that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I went to the Devil's Bowl Speedway in Mesquite, Texas, a couple of years ago, and I heard about this guy that was supposed to be hell on wheels, and he was running a sprint car. Which, if you want to get killed fast, that's a good way to do it.
Boy, I watched.
But at any rate, he starts off 24th, last position, because he'd done something qualifying and gotten thrown to the rear. He starts the race, 100-lap race. He runs 99 laps. He passes every car except the lead car. And they're going down a backstretch, dirt track now, slinging mud everywhere. And he did an Earnhardt. He hit this guy in the left rear wheel, and the guy goes out of the racetrack.
Oh, no.
And I said, I got to talk to him. It's amazing. Dale Earnhardt's picture just came up on this photogram I've got. You know, it's a thing you put pictures in.
Yeah.
And it keeps sliding. And damn, well, you said Earnhardt, he came right up on it. I can't believe it.
So Martha,
but at any rate,
yeah.
I got over there and I was talking to the guy, and he said, I want to be a cup driver. And I'm looking at him, and he's got a burr haircut. His teeth aren't right.
Oh, no.
He's got one of those holy T-shirts, and I don't mean in
I know what
St. Thomas of Aquinas holy. and I thought to myself, I said, this guy's one heck of a driver, but he'd never get a sponsor. And then I started thinking on my way back, I just saw Earnhardt.
Oh, my God.
Back in,
75,
whatever it was. Yeah. But he should be racing for us now, because that's just what we need. We need a real character.
Hey, we can get his teeth fixed. They can do the wonders with teeth now, Humpy.
That's right.
What was the guy? What was his name, Humpy? I mean, is he still doing? I'm sure he's still racing. Do you remember his name, the kid?
Yeah, his name was Gaines. His last name was Gaines, and he's from Texas.
Okay.
And I think his first name was Tony.
All right, Tony, might be listening.
That wasn't close. That was not close. It's close enough.
Folks, we're talking to Humpy Wheeler. Humpy Wheeler.
Of course, he never made it. He never made it, but. That's just too bad. So, Harold, how are you doing now? Tell me about yourself.
I'm doing good, Humpy. 80 years old, close to you. I'm chasing you, I think. But we had wonderful times. You took care of me. And I like to think I've reciprocated with you because you're
Oh,
the
you
greatest
did,
showman.
man. You made life great for me, I'll tell you.
Well, you were the greatest showman of all time in that racetrack. You knew you touched the core of what people wanted more than any person I've ever known in my life. And I salute you for that. That takes vision, Humpy, and you did.
Well,
it.
that's a great comment, sir. I appreciate it very much. And
you're always accessible. Always accessible.
It's just not like it was, and hopefully maybe we'll get back there. But you don't want to get too fancy. You gotta have somebody that's chewing the side of the back and spitting down on pit road.
Yeah, Humpy, you mentioned that NASCAR's making some changes. Do you want to add anything else? You're talking about the cars. Any other rule changes they've got coming for next season?
Well, the cars next year, every car that has been built for Cup competition is gone. As we speak, there's over 600 race cars sitting out there that are totally obsolete.
Gosh.
Because the new car, you have to buy them from one central source.
Wow.
The chassis, the engine, and the body. And they're delivered to you by truck.
Wow.
And you put them together, but you can't touch one piece on it. And so...
That sounds like it's going to be driver skill. That sounds like it's going to be the driver.
It's going to be even.
Yeah, but it's going to be the driver now.
Somebody will figure it out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, Humpy, I got a question for you. I got a couple of things. One is, how was it doing the Tex in the Cars movie?
Oh, it was fun.
Yeah.
The only reason I got in it is I was out there helping John Laster, who's the new Walt Disney, in Richmond, California, which is right across the bay from San Fran. And we were talking about characters, and he had Junior's character and Richard's character and so forth and so on. And this one guy, one of the artists in there that helps figure out ideas, he said, we need somebody from Texas. We don't have anybody from Texas in this movie. And the other guy said, well, why don't you let Humpy do Texas?
That's
and
cool.
I said, well, I'm not from Texas. He said, yeah, but you talk just like a Texan.
Yes.
Well, what people don't realize is that if you go to Dallas-Fort Worth or Dallas, Texas, and you go west, everybody out there talks like somebody from North Carolina. And the reason is because all these cats came back from the Civil War, no place to go, their farms were ruined and everything else, and they were from North Carolina, and so the accent stuck, and it's true. So that's how I became Tex.
A history lesson from Humpy. I love it.
Yeah. How about that? So me and...
well, I was in a movie one time. We were doing it at the Speedway, and Ernest Borgnine was supposed to play the promoter, and they couldn't get together with him, so the gal that was doing the movie, she said, well, you can do it. And I said, she said, you've torn our script up. You didn't like it. You didn't do this, so you know what it is. And I said, oh, well, okay, well, I'll do it. So comes the premiere, and I'm sitting there with a guy named Timothy Bottoms, who's an actor.
Actor, Timothy Bottoms. Yeah, I think a lot of folks might remember him.
Here comes me. Somebody else's voice is coming out of my mouth. I kind of slid down under the seat, like you used to do.
Well, Humpy, how you feel? You sound great. You feel good? Life good?
Oh, yeah, everything's fine. And by the way, you got 3 years to catch me because I'm only 83 now.
Are you serious? Oh, my God. Well, I'm going to keep trying, Humpy. Humpy, you stay well. And again, I couldn't have done what I did without your help, Humpy. You made me look good.
Same here, man. You helped us a tremendous amount, and we missed the heck out of you.
Well, we had fun.
I look forward to seeing you soon.
Absolutely, Humpy. Invite me to dinner, and that means you have to pick up the check. And you're worth more than me.
Nothing's changed.
You made more money.
One of them $1 trillion bills.
Yes.
Good Lord, Humpy. I love it. I love somebody can top me, and you're the man. I love you, Humpy. I love you, brother.
Oh, I love you, man.
Take care.
Hey, Humpy, I got one more question
sir.
for you.
Yes,
for you. Hey, you remember in 1978 whenever you had the Earnhardt come along? Okay, so you had Willie T. Ribs in the car, right? And so
Had who?
Willie T. Rib.
Oh, Willie T. Yeah,
Okay.
Willie T.
Long way,
Yes.
Willie.
Yes. All right. So tell us a little bit about that story, because I've got Will Cronkite, who actually had called right before you.
Sure. Yeah, well, Willie had this car in Ford, and ex-Bud Moore Ford, and so I wanted to kind of break the barrier, and
Yeah.
since Wendell had gotten hurt so bad at Talladega, Wendell Scott,
That's right.
and so I invited Willie out for a test, and Willie came in, and he's driving Will Cronkite's car, and actually he did pretty darn good on the track. Well, that was about 2:00 in the afternoon, and we finished, and I got a call about an hour and a half later from a friend of mine in the Charlotte Police Department.
Oh, no.
They said,
Oh, here
we
go.
have a friend of yours down here. And I said, you probably got a bunch of them, but go ahead. And he said, some guy named Willie, and he said, he says T and Ribs. I said, you talking about Willie T. Ribs is in jail? He sure is.
Nah.
And so I went down there, got him out, and I said, what the hell did you do? Well, his version was completely different between for the police department's version. He was going the wrong way down 4th Street. Of all places to go the wrong way, that's right in front of the jail.
Yeah, that's an invitation. That's an invitation.
Yeah. And so they never did catch him because he was in my car.
Oh.
I had loaned him my car to, quote, go downtown. I had no idea what he was going to do. So he went downtown all right.
Yeah.
And he thought I wanted to, some publicity. And so he just goes hog wild and skidding and sliding all around down Tryon Street and 4th Street and 5th Street and all that. And they finally got him. And so he came back, and I had to give him a little talk. I said, I don't know what you were thinking about, because he's from California. I said, when you cross that Mississippi River going east, you needed to become somebody else and not what you are. And he said, oh, I thought you'd like that. It's all kind of publicity. I said, yeah, you're going to be on the front page tomorrow, son. And he was. So we had to finally dispatch him back to California. And Earnhardt was sitting around twiddling his thumbs, bugging me to death, trying to get him a ride.
Oh.
So we put him in that car. And that was his first serious race. And he did okay. He didn't hit anything. Well, he did. He hit everything but the women's room, but it didn't tear the car up enough to go down. But if it hadn't been for Willie going back to California, Earnhardt wouldn't have gotten a ride as quick as he did.
Oh, my gosh. Well, hey, you got a million stories. Humpy, you should write a book. Did you write a book?
I did. Nobody read it, but I wrote it.
Hey, somebody told me that I need to write a book. I said, I can't find enough pictures.
Yeah, it was. It was okay. It was pretty good.
Well,
you get it on Amazon, folks. Amazon.com.
Oh, how much? What's it cost to buy it on Amazon?
I think they're all the way down to $5 now.
I'm sure. Hey, I read the book, Humpy. It's magnificent with wonderful stories and things in there.
Yeah,
and I laughed.
We had some stories.
I laughed. So I'm thinking, pub the book. It was Amazon.com.
Yeah, that's it. Yes,
what's the
racing's most outrageous promoter.
Oh, and you were every bit of that too. And I'll tell you what, Humpy,
The best.
there'll never be another one like you, Humpy. Hey, how's
Well,
Brad?
never be one like you, Harold, and I appreciate you letting me be on the show. It's
Well,
nice.
hey, how about an update
It's
on-
great to hear you again.
Thank you, my friend. How about an update on Bruton Smith? What's he doing?
Well, Bruton's had a little health problem. And,
Okay. He's got to be running up there in age, too. I like Bruton. Bruton is a good guy. Is a good guy.
yeah, he's all the way up there about 94.
Still
And
kicking.
I
Yeah.
saw him Christmas Eve, and
Okay.
he was rolling along.
Well, next time you see him,
And,
tell him I said we all said hello. We liked Bruton,
I
too.
will.
You guys were great with each other. I mean, Bruton sometimes gave you a hard time, but you managed to succeed and make him look good too. Everybody that hooked up with you, you made him look good, Humpy.
What a day. What days.
They were wonderful. Take care, my friend.
Thank you.
All
Humpy.
right, Harold. Sure, man. Take it easy.
All right, we'll
Take care,
do it
buddy.
again.
Talk to you later. Thank you. Bye bye.
He was what that sport needed at that particular time. At that speed, he made such an inroad to racing and personalities that went along with that.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a perfect storm.
It was a perfect storm.
It was the perfect storm. Humpy Wheeler doing it, the drivers doing it, me doing stuff with Waltrip and crazy stuff. And
All the pre-race fun he
Oh,
had,
my
blowing
gosh.
up buses,
Yeah,
the
school
army
bus.
invasion.
The school bus. What was the name of the guy that had the school bus? Danny. Was it Danny something?
I remember
can't
seeing
remember.
it many times.
They had to give him a couple drinks before he would do it. Though, a couple shots of
jumping
liquor.
20
Yeah.
cars.
That's right,
in a-
we talked about
jumping
that.
20 cars in a school bus. They had a name, and I nicknamed something that sounded very much like it, and it was funny. Everybody died laughing. Come on, memory, kick in. The Danny, was it Danny? Don't come to me before the show's
That's
over.
all right. Yeah, we can look it up too because we're getting ready to take a break.
All right.
So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to play about 4 commercials because we kind of went over about 20 minutes.
Thank you, Humpy.
But that's okay. It was great to hear from Humpy. And we're going to come back and we're also going to just get Will Cronkite on here. He's going to tell the rest of that story because there's another part to that story
That's
that we
right.
didn't get from Humpy. But we'll just run through that right quick. All right, so we'll be right back to Racing Roots with Ham and Harold Johnson. All right, we're back to Racing Roots with Ham as well as DHammiam on YouTube. And we're also streaming on Facebook. And all
Humpy
this
used to
stuff.
box too.
And-
Humpy could box you, fix your ears, or pin your ears back if you gave him too much lip. Hey, Humpy's a tough guy.
Hey, my grandfather was from Australia and he used to box kangaroos.
Oh, get out!
Yeah, man.
Is that your dad or your grandfather? I see on some of those
dad's side.
commercials.
Yeah. It was on my dad's side.
Those
It was,
kangaroos would knock the hell out of that.
Oh, yeah, they're tough. They look like they got 6 packs.
Oh, I
muscles.
mean, and the way they bounce and jump.
Yeah.
Did your grandfather ever knock one out?
Oh, I don't know about that. I never did get to talk to
the
him.
Roo knocked him out a couple of times.
I never got to meet him
Oh,
because he was
okay.
in Australia. You know?
Oh, okay.
So it was a
I
little
thought
far
maybe you
away.
might have hooked you up down there or something.
Yeah, well, I didn't get that chance. My dad was made in Australia and then shipped over here in a container. My grandmother's Billy.
Oh, okay, okay.
Right after World War II, he was a baby boomer.
Well, we had a lot of things happening after World War II for this great country, and that the idea of getting along together and pulling this great country up by its bootstraps, and we need more of that today, folks. The American spirit, that's what we need.
Yeah, for sure. So what I was going to do is call Will Cronkite back and talk to him and let him tell the rest of that story right quick.
Yeah, Willie, that was a big story. I mean, everybody went crazy, and Humpy was like, what'd you do, dude? What are you doing?
Yeah.
The arrows mean something, you know, when it says don't come in here.
Yeah.
You can't drive in there like that, you
That's
know?
right. Hey, Will.
Yes, sir.
Hey there. That sounds a
All
lot
right,
better.
Will.
Hey, so
Yeah.
Humpy, did you hear the story that Humpy told about?
I sure did, and I remembered Harold telling him that everything that Humpy touched, he made people look good, and he sure made me look good on more than one occasion. I appreciate everything that Humpy Wheeler's ever done for Will Cronkite. He treated me good.
Well, he did everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The name of the guy, the guy that did the school buses, Will, jumping over cars was Jimmy Goofus. I called him Jimmy Goofus.
Yeah, he was. What didn't they call him? The Greek?
Yeah, the Greek. He was
The Greek.
Jimmy the Greek
That's right.
Goofus, and I called him Jimmy the Greek Goofus because he never made it over the cars. He always crashed the bus, and that was part of it. I think.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for remembering that.
There
That's
you are.
great.
Okay, so Will, you're on number 3 over there. There you go.
1, 2.
All right, testing 1, 2, 3. You're on the camera too now, by the way. There's Will. I mean, Will. Phil. Phil.
Phil.
Well, to get this phone to work,
Sorry.
I had to turn off my my YouTube access to your show, so I can't watch you. I think that was the problem.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing, Will.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
because
got a story about you too, Harold.
I hear you. So tell us more about the car and Willie T and what happened.
Well, what I remembered, I wrote a book, and in this book, I wrote about the title of the chapter in that book is called My Introduction to Ironhead, and I recall the same thing that Humpy did, and he called me in the afternoon, and he said, "Hey," he says, "I got some bad news." He said, "I sent that young man back to California." And he said, "But don't, obviously I'm nervous because I thought we had a deal going where I was going to be a Winston Cup car owner and
Make big money and all that.
and enjoy the good life." And he said, "Don't worry about it." He says, "You're going to hear your name on TV tonight," but he said, "Don't get worried. We're going to work out something."
Oh,
and this is how I remember the story. This is what I wrote in the book. Was that we always listened to you. You were the Sports Illustrated called you the dean of Charlotte sportscasters, but we all know he is the big guy, and so everybody around my part of the woods listened to the big guy to hear their racing news. And so when your show come on, you were just started to talk about that Humpy had sent the young man back to California.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, within 10 seconds, my phone rang, and it's Dale Sr.
Oh, God.
And he says, "Can I drive that car?" You're still talking on the television.
Yep.
And I said, I don't know. It's a Humpy deal. He says, "Can I call Humpy?" He calls Humpy. A minute later, Humpy calls me, and you are still talking about this story on your television show there.
Yeah.
And we made the deal that evening over the phone, and Senior told me, he said, I'm going to be down there. This was a Tuesday night, and you remember Wednesdays was the first day of qualifying.
That's right.
At Charlotte, so we had to get this done. So he came down and fit the seat in that car, and he said, "Boy," he said, "Don't." He said, "Something. Aren't you glad we both listened to the big guy?" And I said, "Yeah." Everybody did. Harold, you were hot stuff there in the newscaster for the sports people. Yep. I know you did other things, but I only was involved in racing. But I tried not to miss a thing that you said. So anyway, Dale comes down and we fit that seat, and in this seat of his truck, this old Ford truck, is this real scrawny little 4-year-old kid stood there and watched us all night.
I'll be darned.
And it turns out, you know who that was. It was Junior.
That was Junior. Had to be.
And there's a part of that story I'm not sure I can tell you on the radio part. But anyway, he was the little Dale Jr. His dad come out to the car after we'd set this. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning. And he said to the boy, he said, "Darn it, boy," and he's acting kind of mad. And then he kind of caught himself. He didn't want to be publicly, I guess, mad at his boy. Because he said, "You spilled your drink. I see you spilled your drink." And then I was out there with him. So when he opened the door, I told Dale Sr., I said, "I can smell the difference between urine and Pepsi, and this wasn't Pepsi."
That's it.
He just got excited. He got excited watching his daddy.
He did, and we talked about that. I was on the Dale Jr. download, and I talked to him prior to that. And he was going to say that on the show, but he must have had second thoughts about admitting that to the public.
Well, Senior would have been very proud of what Junior accomplished, I think. I mean, that was...
I think so, too.
I mean,
one of the things, I'm sure you know this, but there's a great big list of things that Dale Sr. will be remembered on this earth for that were not related to racing. He had about as big a heart as any gentleman I ever run across.
Listen, if Dale befriended you, and he didn't befriend a lot of people, but if he got you and trusted you in his inner circle, you had a friend for life no matter what. Because, again, he didn't put too many people in the circle. I was proud and honored to be in the circle. He gave me cowboy boots, anything I ever wanted. He'd call me and say, "What do you need? You need something?" I said, he gave me a pair of cowboy boots, and I said, "Dale Earnhardt gave me some cowboy boots. They were size 11. I wore a 12. I lost both my toenails wearing those damn cowboy boots. But I didn't put them down. I didn't take them off."
No cowboy boots, but he used to give me tires. I used to have some drivers that weren't obviously as talented as he was, and there was times where I could use a couple tires or so, and he was kind enough. He gave me tires quite often. He was kind to me, and I've been in his office when he was been kind to some other folks. And I'll remember him as a great big-hearted fella, as well as a good driver.
That's how you know somebody that left something wonderful in the life they led. When you think about them years after they've died and passed on, and you remember good things they did and stories you heard about them that you didn't talk about, how they helped a lot of people along the way. And he had that star magnetism about him that he could do that. If he gave you a wink, he looked at you and gave you a wink, but you felt, man, that made my day. That made my week. That guy, Dale Earnhardt, winked at me, signing autographs. You know, you see some
punch you in the side.
Yeah, some people did want to sign autographs. Dale was one of the first drivers back then. Were a little bit shy of that microphone. They got intimidated by that. But Dale never did. Dale just took it for what it was worth, like at Waltrip and some of the others. That brought them out of that shell of being so shy and scared. And that's one of the great things about Dale, what he did. He set the benchmark for other drivers that, hey, look, the media is not your enemy. They're make them your friend. And Dale did that. I respected him so much. We would talk about that. He said, I don't like doing interviews that much. Certain people I like talking to, but I just don't like to do a lot of. I said, Dale, that's part of it. That's people see the other side of you. You got to keep doing that and just relax and just do the interview. Be who you are. And he said, that's a good point, Harold. And I don't
know if you're the one that gave him that attitude, but he sure had it. He seemed like he was just real.
Yeah.
No matter who he was talking to, and he'd give you his opinion. That was his opinion, and you could deal with it however you saw fit. But that was his opinion.
I'm just wondering, Will, if he were alive today, what would he be? He would have been a car owner for sure.
Absolutely.
And he might
the best thing that could have happened was that he acquired NASCAR.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that would have been
he'd have put it
something.
back with where Bill France was when he started it.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness gracious. Yeah, because, I mean...
He'd say, "This is the way it is, boys. Get up or get out."
Yeah,
he was the voice.
The shine was on the sport back then when we were doing it, and the shine has diminished somewhat. And now,
well, you're responsible for a great deal of that shine. I remember everybody, including me, was hoping they could get Harold Johnson to say your name.
well, thank you, Will.
You're
a
hot
good man,
stuff, my friend.
Thank you, Will. I love you, brother. You keep up the good work. Stay healthy.
I'm going to do it, young man. You have a good evening. David, thanks for inviting me.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Will.
Appreciate you,
it.
Will.
See you later, folks. Bye-bye.
I'm getting sentimental. I'm getting teared up a little bit thinking about the days gone by of how amazing it was and wonderful it was and exciting it was to be part of the sport when it was that was the highlight of the sport. That was the summit of the sport back in the started in the 60s, late 60s, into the 70s, the 80s, into the 90s. When the competition was so great, the spirit of racing was so big, the controversies were so big and wonderful. And again, folks, enjoy it now. It's great. But boy, those of you that are reliving it just like Will was doing now, there's some fond memories in all our minds, David.
Yeah, absolutely is.
Fantastic.
Hey, so I was going to have Phil tell you his story about the champagne bottle in Earnhardt.
Let me hear. I hope Jimmy
Phil,
the Greek, maybe Jimmy the Greek Goofus is watching.
Well, that was on the float.
Tonight.
Okay, well, which one was it where he was pulling your hair? And
that was on. Remember in Atlanta when they would clinch the championship,
yeah,
they would
always
bring a big hauler float for the championship team.
Yeah.
Would all get on it, and they would allow like 3 or 4 photographers. And me being with the Winston Cup scene at the time, I'd be able to get right up front.
Yeah, sure.
And you'd be like from here to Dale and Teresa and Richard and the crew chief and his wife. Their wives would be up in the front with the big logo behind him, and they go slowly all the way around the speedway on the apron, spraying champagne and drinking it, and the fans on the fence screaming. Well, we made the whole lap in '94 with Earnhardt, and as everybody was disembarking off, I turned back to Dale and I says, "Is there any champagne left in that bottle?" He had a big Magnum, and he goes, "Yeah," and he pulled my hair back and poured it directly into my mouth, and several photographers got a photo of that, and it's one of my most cherished photos of me just. And you can see the champagne going right in my mouth. Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah.
See that memory you never forget.
But it was that little. Yeah. I wasn't in the inner circle, but I was in an outer circle, and he still recognized you as. He knew I thought the world of him as a fan before I even got in the sport. Well, he would give me that much. Yeah.
Dale brought out the personalities in a lot of drivers. Like Waltrip had his own personality, but he still egged him on a little bit. And some Rusty Wallace and some of the other guys, Kowicki and some. I mean,
Gordon even. Remember he would come up during the race and he would punch you out of the way to pass you for the win. Or maybe if you didn't win and you were mad at him after the race, but he would come right up to you after the race and put his arm around you like that's just racing. He would make a joke out of it. Well, the driver that he had just punted out of the way was pretty upset.
Oh yeah, I remember the one incident at the Speedway when Dale and Waltrip were coming right down to the finish. Right down to the finish, and Dale just went down on the grass. and just came up and just blasted Darrell and spun him around, and Dale took the win. And Darrell got hurt. Well, Tuesday, the next week, they're getting ready for qualifying and whatnot. And I was down there on the garage area with Darrell, and they said, Darrell looked over and said, "Here comes Earnhardt." And I said, what's going to happen? He said, "I don't know. I'm going to wait and see what he says." And Dale came walking by and just said, "Hey, Harold," and then started to walk away and turned around and said, "Hey, Darrell, sorry about that," and turned around and walked away. I mean, and Darrell said, Walter said, "Oh, that's okay. That's part of racing." But I mean, I was wondering what's going to happen. Is it going to be confrontation? Dale just said, "Hey, sorry about that, dude," and just walked off. Just said, "That's it. Thank you."
Gosh. Hey, so I want to mention a few things right quick before I forget. Neil Johnson with Swimming Pool and Spa said to tell you hello.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, say hello to him. Thank you for all the good things you've done for my pool. It's great. Thank you, bud.
That's right. And I also want to mention about Martha Earnhardt passing away on Christmas Eve.
Oh,
Christmas
I
Day.
didn't know that. How 90 what? How old was she?
91.
Oh my gosh, I talked to her. I talked to her a lot. She would call me, or I'd call her, and we'd talk and talk and talk. Lovely lady.
Yeah.
Beautiful lady. Beautiful lady.
Yeah.
She outlasted her sons.
Oh gosh.
Even.
Yeah,
Think
now
about
you
it.
got the two daughters are still around.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
And a good friend of mine in the motorsports world, Bundy Mitchell, who built motors for some of the Sprint cars, he's been in the hospital after a massive heart attack a little over 3 weeks ago. He's slowly coming back.
Where's he at? Is he in
He's
Statesville?
down in Charlotte.
Is
down
he?
in he's in real critical
So,
condition.
all right, well, let's say a prayer for him
Yeah,
tonight.
Bundy
okay?
Mitchell.
We're all
So,
getting older. You never know from one day to the next what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And we lost Steve from PRN.
Yeah, Steve Richards, Leibowitz.
Yeah. All right. So, and one more thing real quick. I also want to mention some of our listeners have questions and comments. So I think Bryson has some over there, right, Bryson?
Yeah, I got a couple over here on Facebook. Eddie Yunt is tuned in. He says, Humpy and Jimmy. So I guess this is when he was listening early. Jimmy the Greek, the best promoter ever.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And,
absolutely.
Greg Gull says good evening. And Eddie Yunt, they're having a conversation in there. So that's always fun.
Eddie Yunt worked for Gibbs forever, but he also was a jack man back for Harry Gant back in the day.
Wave my man Harry. Loved Harry. Taylorsville's own Harry Gant. Skull man. He rode the Skull car for a while, didn't he?
He did. He worked for with Tracy's dad.
Oh, really?
Tracy's dad worked over there.
Oh, that's yeah.
Kenny
That's
Thompson.
David's better half over there. Get her on the microphone. Hey, sweetheart, how you doing?
I'm wonderful.
I apologize for saying sweetheart. I mean, I did politically correct society. Good evening, madam. How are you?
I am so
That's
not
better. That's safe.
politically
I'm safe now. I'm safe.
I don't know. Madam makes her sound old.
Good evening, young lady. Thank you for coming tonight.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's
Pleasure to have
good.
you.
What else you got over there, my man?
Chad Hyder says that he loves the Will Cronkite stories.
Oh, that's
He's
great.
always-
Will's
he's
great.
always
Did we say
tuned in.
Will's got a book out? We should have mentioned where you can buy. Probably Amazon.
NASCARredneck.com.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep. I was a NASCAR redneck, basically, but yeah,
Well, don't we all have a little redneck? I mean, come on. Give me a break.
that's right. Chad Hyder races in the iRacing series up in Ohio.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. Good to see the young guys taking an opportunity to get in the sport. They can compete if you love it and work hard at it. Hey, you can be successful for sure, right? I mean, ask any of them. But when Jeff Gordon came along, everybody, I think when he won at Charlotte, he was too young to drink any beer. They had to give him milk or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
I mean,
I was there.
Yeah, he
been.
couldn't drink champagne
Think
or
I would've
anything.
been.
Had to give him. Humpy said, "Give him milk. Get him some milk to drink."
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the championship in '95.
Yeah.
He toasted Earnhardt because Earnhardt always called him the kid or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a picture of that holding up the milk and the champagne.
And
They took one down to
I
Earnhardt.
admire Dale for the way he got along with Jeff. It reminded me of Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer when Arnie was the guy in golf. And here comes this chubby guy from Ohio State named Nicklaus challenging Arnie, really big time. People were calling him fat boy, big boy, and Dumbo. And Arnold Palmer stepped up immediately and just said, hey, we're not doing that.
No.
This guy is a competitor. He's tough and he's good.
Yep.
And because Palmer could have let that go, and that nagging talk about him taking over for Arnie. And Earnhardt did the same thing with Gordon. He could have made it very uncomfortable for Jeff Because Jeff was a young kid on the block. What are you kidding me, folks? We're going to accept that? No, Dale didn't do that. He welcomed the challenge.
Yeah, well, he saw what the future was coming in racing
and
too.
that's,
You know,
very
Jeff
smart,
was part of that,
and he loved that. And
sure.
that relationship of competitors really played on the racetrack. It was great, absolutely. And Jeff never forgot that either.
So there's a question
lot of
that
character.
somebody wants to know here, Harold. You remember when Bobby Allison won the Daytona 500 in '88,
Yes.
and he had a shop out on Roswell Ferry Road?
Yes.
You went on out there and did an interview afterwards,
And
right?
they did something to my bumper.
Yeah, exactly. John Quick brought that up.
They-
Tell us about that, Harold.
well-
Bobby, go ahead.
Well, Bobby won the. I think Bobby won the race, or something happened to a late caution where the bumper came off.
The rear bumper.
Yeah. And I laughed about it. I said, come on, guys, those bumpers can't come off that easily, that quick. And so we went out there to do an interview, and then we got back to the station, and one of the guys called up. And no. What it was they took the bumper off and they put a potato in the exhaust. So the car would start, and we got out on the road. The damn car shut down. I'm thinking, what happened here? What's going on? And the guys were laughing. They followed me out there and with the bumper and said, Harold, how easy that bumper came off. Isn't that something? Put the bumper back on. Oh, God.
I think that was he was either Jeff Clark or Big E that put the potato in the bumper or whatever it was.
Trick me.
Yeah. I actually, that was funny. I sat down and had that conversation with Robert Yates.
I
at one
love
point, too.
Robert.
Yeah.
I love Robert. He passed away here
Yeah,
a
he
while
did.
back.
Yeah.
3 years
His
ago.
wife was beautiful. I liked her. She hated me. Every time we did a story on the Yates racing or whatever, nothing negative really. She'd call me up, threatened to sue me.
Right.
Oh, she would. I'm going to sue you, Harold Johnson. I'm going to sue you. I said, well, I forget her first name. What was
Carolyn?
it? Carolyn. That's right, Carolyn. Yeah. Carolyn, what did I do? Well, you just keep saying stuff about Robert and the team. Yeah. I don't like it. I said, well, I'm just doing my job. I'm not trying to hurt. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you. I'd say, well, please hold back because you won't win. Save your money, Carolyn. I didn't get nasty with her. I just said, Carolyn, think twice. I'm still going to sue you.
Yeah.
She always dressed so elegant.
Oh, she was
Real big
out of
dresser.
a model page or something
Absolutely.
like that.
Smelled wonderful.
Yes.
Like when you go to the banquet in New York, she was just the tease.
I didn't get that close to smell her, Phil. But,
well, I mean, you know. Okay.
I took a sniff.
She's like, this ain't scratch and sniff. You know?
Yeah. Hey, back in the 90s, I was younger. I'd get close. You know?
That's beautiful. But she's lovely.
Yes, she is.
Did she pass away?
No.
She's still
around.
here.
No.
Yeah.
I hope she's listening tonight. Carolyn, I love you.
And another a woman that I always thought was so elegant, and I told her that was Nancy Wood.
Oh,
that
always.
we just lost. She just passed away.
Oh, my God. How old was she?
I think she was in her late 50s.
I'd say late 50s. Yeah, I mean,
bless her heart. What a sweet lady she was.
Very,
Nancy
very
Wood.
nice,
Oh,
very sweet, very cordial.
yep.
The wives played a big part in the racing world
they
too.
used to, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, sure.
Daryl's wife, she was very Stevie. She was very sweet. I remember when she had her baby, and now his daughter is graduated from law school at Vanderbilt.
Jessica,
Daryl, Jessica,
yeah.
and practicing law now.
Yeah.
How about that?
wow.
I found some pictures recently, and I just scanned. I got them on my laptop. Jessica trying to put a bow on my nose or something.
Oh gosh,
or
I
wiping
remember
my
when
nose.
Stevie was
Do you
pregnant. in the
remember what
garage
happened the weekend after she was born?
No.
Daryl won Martinsville.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I remember. I was a fan back then. I think it was '87. And Daryl, she was born, Jessica was, and that weekend Daryl won the race at Martinsville.
I kind of miss him on the racing circuit. I mean,
Yeah.
But you got to know when it's time to pack it in, I guess. And I mean, it was a good gig. I mean, go there for weekends. But he just felt. I'm sure he felt like, hey, I'm traveling. I'm done. I want to stay home with my wife and family and kids.
Yeah.
So he did. But
He's got grandkids. And
what a great
everything
career.
now, so.
And Michael did a pretty good job too, didn't he?
He's
Yeah,
still
he did.
going at
Decent.
it. He drove in that
especially-
series.
Yeah.
2001.
Everham series last year. He drove in that. So
And we think about what happened, of course, with him and Dale at Daytona. And
Yeah, 2001 Daytona.
Dale,
He
what are
won.
you doing? Don't make that unsafe move, Dale.
Yeah.
Don't he already won the race.
Yeah.
He had it won, Dale. You don't have to block anybody.
Right.
Hey, did Dale listen to anybody that told him anything?
I know. Even it was Bill Simpson talking about the harness. Dale's harness isn't made to save your life when you cut it down like that. Dale just laughed. Don't worry about me, Bill. I'm fine.
Yeah.
And then normally a wreck like that, even though it was bad, you're thinking he's going to be okay. The harness will take care of it. The new type would probably you have a stiff neck.
All of our times is written down. Right?
I
There you
know.
go. Hey, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back to Racing Roots with Ham and Harold Johnson. And we're back to Racing Roots with Ham right here on 550 AM, 92.9 FM, WAME radio, as well as DHammiam on YouTube. And we're also streaming on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook or any of the other ones, if you want to go onto my DHammiam, or just type in Racing Roots and Harold Johnson, and it'll take you right to the video.
Get Jimmy the Great Goofus on the phone.
And
Somebody.
you can, I didn't think far enough ahead
Practice
to
jumping.
do that. But anyway, that'll put you down the video, and you can see all the different camera angles. Because right now we got one camera on Facebook, but we got all these other ones going on.
Oh, we got
on
cameras
the
up.
YouTube
It's
channel.
good security, David, just in case we get rolled. Hey, my
Yes.
friend Brian Weiss, I called him Skippy on the radio. He's
That's
listening to us up in the great state of New Jersey, my home state. And Brian, thanks for tuning in tonight, my friend. We missed you down here in Statesville, North Carolina. He's doing well up at, they might be working in New York City now. He's big time. He told me I could come up and stay at his house and go to Atlantic City, do a little gambling. I said, what are you going to charge me a night? He said, only $30 to stay at his house. That's not, but I had to sleep in the dog's house. But hey, that's that for $30. But he was my right-hand man. He couldn't have done the show for eight or 9 years across the street. And we had a wonderful time. People ask about you, Skippy, and we glad you're doing well.
Yeah.
I love you, brother. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you're tuned in. I met him a couple times.
Oh, yeah, good
out here.
guy.
Yeah.
Great guy. Helped me tremendously. And we had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. So thank you, Mufka. Appreciate it. All right,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
listened to you over there at WSIC on my way, and I would text in every once in a while. I'd text
Well,
talking
he'd
about
read the
Robert
text.
Yates.
He'd read the text on the air, too. God,
Yeah.
the spontaneity of radio. Everybody thought radio was going to die 30 years ago. TV's going to new networks, all these networks coming in.
Yeah.
The radio's dead. How dead is it? Still alive and kicking if you put a good product on the air. So with the product,
If Paul Harvey was alive, he'd still be doing his deal every day, right?
Paul Harvey, good day.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he was
And the
great.
rest of the story.
Yeah.
it.
Paul
Paul
Harvey was
Harvey.
great. He was great.
He was great. Tracy, do we have any comments, questions on the YouTubes anymore?
YouTube.
And Bryson,
Give us
did
an
you have any
update,
more?
Tracy.
Here's
Bryson,
one.
give us updates.
Harold,
What do we
what
got?
about Wilkesboro coming back? How do you feel about them refurbishing that?
I know. I mean, will it work? I guess can you go back?
Well,
Sure.
that's what it might have to go back to is the basics.
Yeah,
Bring
but I mean-
everybody huddle back up, bring it back home, and gather up and
You
figure
remember
out.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s got a show on now about old racetracks. Have you
Oh,
seen
I
it?
love it. Yeah, it's
great, isn't it?
fantastic. It's I've been to one of the tracks over by Raleigh last year. I
Oh
went
my
to.
gosh! It's
Yeah.
when's it on? Tell people when it's on because they may not know. I don't even.
It's on Paramount or
Pa-
the Peacock.
Peacock, that's it.
Peacock. NBC?
That's NBC.
Yeah.
Well, it's an associate of NBC. It's called Peacock.
Oh, I see.
So
I
you
got
go to peacock.com.
When's it on? When's it
It's
on?
on free. It's
Well,
a
do you
weekly.
just punch it up? What time's it
Yeah.
on? When's it on?
Whenever you stream,
you
it's
can
on
hit it.
streaming. This
Okay.
new stuff. It's not 1900s, Harold.
The only streaming I do
It's
is
on
when I
whenever
wake
you
up
hit
in the
play.
morning. That's the only streaming I know.
There
so,
you go.
hello.
As long as you're streaming in the morning, you're all right.
Well, hey, all right. Speaking of that show, say hello to Matt Dillner.
Hey, Matt.
Oh, Dillner's the man.
Yeah, because I
He's
sent him a
co-host
link.
that, you know.
Oh, is that right?
Matty, yeah.
that's
He does a
cool.
great job. He's down to earth about it all, too.
But
yeah.
it's fantastic. I watched it. I mean, you're just so nostalgic, and I think they did in Wilkesboro here not too long ago, and talked about
I
it.
don't know. Remember last year when they did the one about the Georgia track with the still that was underground?
No, I didn't see that. right
a
over
great
the,
one.
over the racetrack.
Underneath the racetrack, yeah, there was a walk.
Hey, you know what? I'm surprised.
2,000-gallon tank
Hey,
underground.
the guys that were racing back in the 50s and late 50s, I'm surprised that anybody lived the way you just
Yeah.
had a helmet,
Yeah,
nothing,
yeah.
a white T-shirt, and
A bucket.
put your Sunday shoes on, get out there and race it
Short sleeve cig.
to win $100 or whatever.
with a roll of cigarettes and rolled
yeah,
up. And
yeah,
Rapid
yeah.
Roy, the stock car
Oh
boy.
my gosh!
Yeah.
How
Oh, yeah.
about the pioneers? Isn't that something?
yeah.
Jeez.
That's why they need to bring it back. That's why the local tracks are picking up a lot of the.
Well, people want to
race
see it.
fans.
Metrolina
Yeah,
and Charlotte.
Sure.
I mean, if you can do it.
Hickory.
lot of money though to be spent to refurbish. Though that's the thing.
From
Can get your money
within
out.
3 hours of here, there's got to be 10 tracks.
Oh,
easily.
Absolutely.
10, 15 tracks you can go to.
Oh, yeah. Metrolina. I went there a few times at Metrolina racing in the mud. The celebrity races. I don't know why they wanted me. They probably wanted me to wreck.
Yeah.
But
Doubt it.
I'll never forget. I had a celebrity race out at Metrolina. It was muddy. Well, you know the track. It's a muddy track. And I came out of the fourth turn and went right down into the mud. I was spewing mud up into the stands. And people were yelling and booing and cheering me on. They're cheering me. Why are they booing? Because you got them all full with mud, Harold O'Hare. You got nothing but mud in the fans. And I did. I sprayed mud all over those poor people. Folks, I apologize. Send me your cleaning bill. I'll take care of it.
All right, somebody else to say hello to, Sterling Marlin. I sent him a link earlier, so hopefully they're tuned in out there in Tennessee. And speaking of Sterling Marlin, that's our special cowbell.
Yeah, more cowbell, Harold, more cowbell.
We like that. We like that.
That means you have to tell a Sterling Marlin story. Do you have one that you can tell about
I
Sterling?
interviewed him. I interviewed Sterling a lot. Sterling was the kind of guy that's like, to interview somebody else, just let me do what I do, and that's run the race car and drive the race car. But hey, Sterling was good, very competitive, always competitive, and I respected that about him. Drove the car to finish, but he'd race. He would race, but didn't do anything crazy. He didn't do anything crazy, so I respected that.
Yeah, he never got too excited either. Like, he'd just be like, that Dumbo over there just about ran me off the track.
Well,
it's about the extent of
just
it.
like his daddy.
I mean,
Just chilling out. Just chill out,
Well, until he got out of the car.
Yeah,
they
2002.
Well, yeah.
Remember when he got out of the car and
Yes.
tugged on the front under a red flag condition? He got out and pulled the fender on his car without realizing that's unapproved adjustment.
But he wasn't a controversial guy at all.
No, no, he was a laid back Tennessee boy.
Good boy.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
good,
real
good,
easygoing.
highly
Boy,
respected.
yeah, no.
Well respected. And of
Yes.
course, what happened at Daytona, talking about the incident with
Yeah,
Dale and whatnot, that didn't last long. I mean, forget that. That didn't work.
Right.
No.
No.
Yeah, we all know what was going on there. Dale was blocking mostly.
Yeah, that was just a racing incident.
It
It's
happened.
about as,
It happened.
It's like
It happened.
predicting how a pool ball will break a 9 balls apart. When
And anything today involving tragedy, we want to dissect it and insect it and do everything else and try to recreate it. And hey, something bad happened. Dale Earnhardt would have been the first to say, "I made a mistake.
Right.
Yep.
I made a mistake."
And then he'd hug you around the neck.
Yeah, yeah.
And Sterling, he had, talking about the pulling the fender out. Really, he says he didn't have much choice. I mean, like, he was going to cut a tire down if he didn't do that. So, it was just one of those things.
Well, sometimes you make the rules up as you go along, and NASCAR did that a few times, and then realized there's a better way to do it.
Yeah.
And so they adapted to it because the fans demanded it. I mean, that's because we know the stories early on about
All right,
NASCAR.
Harold, with that saying, Harold, I got to be a wise guy here. Because, the fans, NASCAR asked the fans years ago, what do you want more of? And they said, short tracks. And what did they give them more of last year? Road courses.
Yeah. No good. No good. Nothing there. No, I never really watched the road races.
I mean, I understand that was because of COVID. It changed the complex of where we were
but
racing.
short track, I love short track
Absolutely.
racing. I mean, that's a lot of skill and everything involved.
Have you ever been to Bowman Gray?
Yeah, one time. It was a personality race when I was working across the street. We went down there for a race. They invited us to come down, and we went down and
Did you go into the stands, Harold? Oh, you've got to do that.
Mud-wise or just people-wise?
Just to be up in the grandstands with the people. It's a wonderful experience. I had to wait 40 years to be able to go.
I can understand why the people loved it so much.
Yeah.
So.
Well, maybe next year, David and I will call you, and Tracy, and we'll all go on up there.
We'll take you out there to the Madhouse.
I'm telling you, it's an experience in the grandstand. It is.
Hey, let's get into some of these questions and before we run out of time on YouTube here.
So we do
But
have
it's
a
an
couple
experience.
questions.
It's a good time.
We've got two. The first one is ask Harold about the elephant in the parade.
Oh, gosh, the elephant in the parade. Very quickly, folks. When the circus came to town, that's what one of the elephants did there. On me. But anyway, we would meet the elephants at the train station, and we would ride the elephants, part of the promotion of WBT. Well, this was a hot summer day. It had been dry. It had been very dry, drought. I'm on one of the backs of one of the elephants. I'm riding the elephant. I'm on the elephant, okay? And the elephants now, and the street cleaners had just come by, and they sprayed water on the streets to get the dung off the streets. And so the elephants saw the water, and they were throwing it on their backs to cool off.
Oh.
Well, yeah. Oh yeah.
So you
So
win.
I'm the lead elephant. And all of a sudden he say, Bruno, hey Bruno. He starts throwing mud and dung on me, and I'm the trainer's in front of me. The trainer in front. I said, hey, get me off this damn thing. Yeah, and I grabbed that, and he goes, oh, have fun. I said, I'm on my butt. Get me down. And I'm spitting the dung, and then I grabbed the elephant by the ear. You know how thick their ears are? 2 inches thick.
Oh, my goodness.
You can't bend them. You can't hurt them. I had that damn elephant's ear. I was pulling his ear. I'm pulling your ear, dude. I'm yelling in his ear. I'm pulling your ear. Bow down. I'm trying to pull that ear, and he's like, more I'm yelling, he's getting excited. I don't know what I did, what I said that got him some male elephant. He got excited, and he's throwing more dung on me. I was dunged out when we got to the Coliseum. I was filled. The only good thing about it, they ate straw. That's all I smelled like. That's the end of the story. I've never been on an elephant ever since.
That's the way it
One
was.
and only time.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Got me
goodness.
crying over here.
And now you know the rest of the story.
And then people have been doing that to me with that elephant's done for the past 15 years, and I don't like it.
Neil Johnson says his favorite Harold moment is you and Ric Flair coming out of Chopper 9.
Oh my gosh! I bump into people, folks. That you can see it online. People come. I don't know how to get it online. One of my kids got. That was in the summer slam or whatever. Hey, Rick comes in with Flair. We're coming down, landing on the helicopter, and people, 26,000 at Memorial Stadium in Charlotte. The place is going absolutely nuts. They don't know who's in the chopper. Then the music. I roll out the red carpet. Here comes Flair. And my biggest mistake that I ever made in broadcasting, biggest mistake, I didn't get in front of Ric Flair. I was covered up by the robe that had the damn big old robe. He couldn't barely see me. I don't want second place. Get me out in front of you, Rick. And he's waving those wings around. But what a wonderful moment that was. Thank you for reliving. That was 30 or 40 years ago, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
been a
gosh.
while.
folks.
Yeah, thanks for that, Neil. I'm glad he brought that up.
Hey, thank you, Neil.
That's a great story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got, David?
That's
Yeah.
all the questions I see
All right,
so far.
Bryson, you got any over here on the Facebook?
Skippy's talking to us a lot. Skippy says if you like the elephant story, the camel story is even funnier.
Oh, the camel story. Let me quickly tell the camel story. When I was in the Marine Corps, 1960 to 64, we were over in the Gobi Desert. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, you see mountains of what? Sand. All of a sudden, here comes a dude over with a camel. Okay, riding the camel. He wanted the box. We had our sea rations. He wanted the wood. He wanted the wood for fire at night because it gets cold on the desert. He comes riding up. We're all looking at him saying, "Yo, help yourself." I walk up to the camel. The nastiest looking teeth I've ever seen. Never been to a dentist.
yeah.
Never been to a dentist. That nasty, never flossed. Anyway, the dude's sitting up there. He's missing half his teeth. And I start making fun of the camel, pointing up at him and making faces at him, walking up to him. And the guy riding the camel said, no. Like, don't tease him. Don't do that. I said, be quiet, dude. And then my buddy's saying, go, Harold, get up close. I got up close, almost face to face with him. He leaned down, and you know how they raise that lip? And I'm looking. I said, look, he's showing his teeth. He shot a wad of poop at me. I don't know what it was.
Spit.
It hit spit is
Yeah,
right.
they
It was
spit
worse
you.
than spit.
Yep.
It hit me right between the eyes. Oh my gosh! It burned. My eyes were burning. My
Like
buddies were dying.
tobacco
laughing.
juice.
It was like that's exactly what it was like. And every time I've never smelled anything quite like it, and I'm never going to do that again. But that camel hit me, and then just went, hey yo.
You know they don't brush.
I know they don't floss, they don't floss, they do that. Bad breath? Are you kidding me? Oh, that's the last time I messed with a camel. Let me tell you.
So I guess I should ask you if you did you go to Zootastic for Christmas lights?
I was about to say that, David. Do you go to zoos?
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you, that's my experience. Now I got a beautiful dog that loves me very much and sleeps with me. Bella's listening to the radio. I'll be home soon, sweetheart. Stop barking. I sing Caramia songs to her, and she howls and sings with me. So that's my life right now.
Is she
And a
watching?
little bit of golf.
Is she watching wrestling right now?
Maybe it's a little after 8 o'clock. We're in good shape. We're good.
I know Joe Nix had sent me a Snapchat. Y'all were out, or you were out golfing one time.
I love Joe.
Not too
Joe and his
long ago.
lovely wife, too. She's beautiful.
Christy.
Yeah, Christy. The whole crowd. You got a beautiful dog, too. All right, what else we got, David?
All right. So when's the last time you went to a NASCAR race?
Oh, gosh. It had to have been Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm trying to think back in, let's see, I retired in 2006. So it had to have been right around 2006, 15 years ago, I guess.
Okay.
That's been a while.
Yeah.
Time goes by fast. When
I
you're
got a
having fun.
question, Harold. You'll remember this because a lot of the new fans, I had mentioned it to a couple people when I was at the Charlotte race this past fall at the hospitality level suites there. I says, you know that bridge over there? See that bridge over there? I says, did you know that fell one time? Remember when that bridge fell?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, unfortunately.
You being a reporter, I imagine.
Oh, gosh.
Where were you and how did you hear about that?
Oh, it was almost as soon as it happened. The word
Yeah.
came into. I don't think anybody died.
No. A couple people got hurt, right?
There were some serious injuries, but I mean that could have been a disaster.
It's a pedestrian bridge that's off of turn 4 at the speedway that crosses over. Yeah,
it collapsed.
It was after the race was over. It was full of people.
Oh my gosh! But I mean, it was so fortunate.
Yeah.
That what
was that, like 94, 95?
Had to have been back then. Back then.
I was there.
Jeez, that was awful.
But it seems like I wasn't there working, but I could have been. Well, it could have been.
You guys would have probably been loading up, David, or else you'd have been in a van leaving, probably out the back.
Yeah. It might have been later, but yeah.
There were some lawsuits
90s.
I remember.
Yes,
that obviously were settled, I'm sure.
Were.
But fortunately, thank God, that there weren't some serious injuries. You see these condos falling down like in Florida, for mercy's sakes. But nobody was critically hurt. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
One of our reviewers said that the camel had Levi Garrett chew in his mouth that he spit on you.
Well, next time you see a camel, look closely at his mouth. When they raise that lip, it's the nastiest looking teeth I've ever seen.
They look like oak planks.
That means start ducking when they raise that lip up there. Like, I mean, get ready, Harold. Wham! Right between the eyes, in the eyes, between the eyes. My eyes burned for a week. I thought I was going blind. My buddies were all laughing. I said, "Give me water. I want to see water. I said, "Forget you. Get the camel water."
Oh wow!
That's when I decided I need to get out of the Marine Corps and get a real job. Okay.
That's when you need stuff like that on video.
That
would have gotten a few likes, I'm sure.
It went viral for sure.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Hey, what was your dog's name again?
Bella.
Bella. Is Bella watching wrestling right now?
I was going to say,
Bella's
Bella's probably running while you're yelling.
Because isn't it 8 o'clock's wrestling?
Yeah, but I got to calm down. When I watch the Eagles, I'm a big Eagles fan from New Jersey. I know that Philadelphia, but I grew up loving that team, watching them. I got to be careful now because I get excited. She puts her ears back, actually puts her paws over her ears.
Yeah.
I got to stop that because I say, honey, I'm not yelling at you. I say, I'm yelling at the TV, and my team's playing sucker football right now, like they did in the first half yesterday against the Redskins. It was pathetic, but they came back and won. But anyway. I'll be home soon.
The Cowboys killed the Redskins yesterday.
Then they're fighting on the bench.
Oh, really?
I didn't even see that. The ending.
Oh, yeah, the Redskins are throwing punches at each other on the bench.
At each other?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're fighting on the bench.
Yeah.
Two dudes who took one
Somebody
guy.
probably accidentally called another one a Redskin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's,
Hey, how come you can't have the Redskins, but you can have the Chiefs?
Well, the thing about it is, too, most Indian tribes that took a survey, if you might remember, folks, the Indians were proud that they were remembered in that way.
Right.
I never looked at the Washington Redskins and think, oh, the nasty Redskin Indians. I looked at it with pride. What a great name. And tribes, many of the tribes, the Cherokees and others, were very proud of that fact. But you got one group, the Squad, the Squid, they start raising hell about it. Let's cave in. Oh, God, don't call me the big Indian raisins. Oh, God, I'll do anything, Squid. What should I do? Squid.
Yes. Hey, so what do you think about Racing Roots with Ham? What do you think about the show? How did you like the show? Because you've been in broadcasting a long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
So give me your honest opinion of what the show.
It's a good show.
Okay.
It could be. It could do something.
Well, if you got suggestions, I'm open ears.
Get sponsors. Sell sponsors. Let's make money.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what we got to do, David. Get people to commit, and we'll have guests on.
Okay.
Talk about everything.
Yeah.
If you can sell it, get out there and do it. I'll do it with you for an hour a week.
All right. Good deal.
And then talk about it. Tape this and then let some of the sponsors hear it. And if the sponsors aren't wimps like we had on the radio, not wimps on the radio, we had people that were solidly committed to us on the radio, me and Skippy. And you know what? Guess what? That morning show made money, and everybody, the sponsors made money. They loved it.
Yeah.
So we can do that, folks. If you're an advertiser, you want to make money, you hook up with David, and we'll talk about the show where we talk about anything, fearless of nothing. Okay? We tell it like it is. That's what we did on the radio. We did it our entire career. 4 Emmys. How did they get that? I didn't pay for all of them. Well, one I did. No, I did. 4 Emmys.
And we will will follow you all the way to the White House, Harold.
Hey, I could do it. I think I could do it.
All right. So what we're working on now is getting sponsors for Racing Roots with Ham. So we're going to work on that. Harold's going to help me with it. So if you're out there listening and you'd like to sponsor the show, send us a message. Go on to Facebook, Racing Roots with Ham, and like the page and send us a message over there. Or you can send it to me personally if you know me.
Sure. Yeah.
How about that? And then what's an idea for the next time you come on the show with us? Or
I'll have to be paid next time.
We'll get together.
Freebie days are over here. I don't care what Biden's doing. He's got the $1 trillion budget. Thank you, Joe Manchin. You're the guy.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You're the man. Even though you folks in West Virginia are ignorant and dumb as hell.
All right. We'll get some
Bette
sponsors.
Midler. Hey, Bette Midler.
Yeah,
Bette Diddler. Bette Diddler right there,
that was
baby.
pathetic,
That
wasn't
was
it?
absolutely pathetic. That Hollywood crowd. What are the
You know
losers?
that the
douchebags.
They got a higher reading percentile in West Virginia than they do
Phil.
in Virginia.
Yes, and nicer people too.
Yeah,
let's
they
be
do.
honest.
My son lives there.
Well, my daughter-in-law is from West Virginia, the Gandy family. Remember the car dealership?
Yeah,
She's
sure.
part of the Gandy family. She's a wonderful
Yeah,
woman.
good.
A wonderful
Was
daughter-in-law.
it Bucky Gandy or something like
Yeah,
that?
Bucky Gandy. Yeah.
Take me
yeah,
home, country
Yeah.
Boy,
road.
they sold a lot of cars down there.
to
Sure
the
did.
And still are, as a matter of fact. So good for them.
All right. Well, Harold Johnson, thank you so much for coming on the show with us.
I'm not really Harold. I'm his double.
Yeah.
Don't blame Harold for what I said tonight.
I think we should have you back right before the midterms next year.
gosh.
And they're going to be here before you know it, too, folks.
Yeah, thank God.
And there's going to be a house clean. I'm saying
Oh, I know.
Republicans are going to win 30 to 40 seats.
Pelosi's going back on her own plane.
Send her back to
All right.
Frisco, put her on the street corner, sleeping under one of those damn blankets with those nasty needles, all that dung is. Let her go back there and
Just-
see how that San Francisco
Yeah,
is doing.
put her on a camel.
Yeah,
Glue her
yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
Yeah. Thank you, Ben. I like it, Phil. I like the way, like Sam Kinison said in that movie, Back to School. I'm going to keep my eye on you, Phil. Remember that movie? Remember
Sam
Yeah.
Kinison.
What a
Remember
great
that.
movie.
Oh,
What a-
Kinison
Rodney
was amazing.
Dangerfield,
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. He's
Back
great.
to School.
I just watched
Yeah.
Caddyshack the other day.
For the 15th
Back to School
time.
was great, yeah,
Back
for
to
the
School
15th
was
time.
great. They wanted to do it again. Rodney wanted to do Back to School too. Rodney Dangerfield wanted too much money. They
Oh.
never
He was
did
no
it.
respect.
That was
Yeah.
a great movie. He did. What a great comedian. We miss you, Rodney.
Did we have any more questions or anything on YouTube?
Your Elvis story.
Oh, Elvis, very quickly here, very quickly. Folks, you know Elvis didn't do radio, but we were at WBT Radio when the World Football League came to town, right? Upton Bell's, the family, Upton Bell, remember the former commissioner, his son, Upton?
Yeah.
Brought back in the 75, I guess 76, brought the World Football League to Charlotte. So we went to Memphis to play a game. They had Larry Zonka, Jim Kick on their team. And just before the game started, a security guard came in my booth and said, looking around. I said, "What's up, dude?" "Well, Elvis is in town. Whenever he's in town, he usually comes to the game, and we're just checking, making sure everything's all right." So all of a sudden, just before we go on the air, I hear, "Hey, good to see everybody. How you doing?" Elvis sticks his head in. "Hey, bud, hey, Harold Johnson from Charlotte." "Hey, Charlotte, one of my favorite cities, Harold." I said, "Well, thank you, Elvis." Anyway, during the game, I looked back. I don't know what made me look back, because you never look back when you're broadcasting. You look forward, okay? Kind of like life. I turned around, looked around. Elvis was right outside the booth getting a drink of water. Had on blue jeans and a blue suede shirt and had Ginger. I think his girlfriend name was Ginger. He had many of them for sure. But anyway, I looked around. I said, "Folks, we got Elvis Presley up here in the booth." And he started laughing. He said, "You ain't going to get me on the radio, no way." And I reached back and gently grabbed him by the hand. I said, "Folks, Elvis is really here. Bring him up here to the microphone. You ain't going to get me on the radio." "Elvis, look, I love this city here. You're up here. What brings you out?" "Well, when the Memphis Southmen are in town, I like to come up and play." That's when he was giving a car away to a lady. He was giving new cars to the guys every year. A lady, a black woman, was standing there watching his car. Poor black lady. She had a vinyl pocketbook. She was poor, just poor. Elvis said, "You like that car?" She said, "Oh, Lordy, I love that car." He said, "Would you like to have it?" She said, "Oh, Lordy, I couldn't afford that." Elvis said, "You got it, ma'am." She didn't even know who he was. He said, "That's your car." I'd like to know what happened to the car. But anyway, Elvis just went back. He ain't going to get me back on. He came back in and did another interview with it, and talked about Love and Charlotte. And I told him, I said, "Elvis, I like your car. Would you get me a car?" And he laughed. He said, "No, that wasn't me. That was some other guy." People were calling the radio station saying they didn't believe that was the real Elvis. They didn't appreciate me imitating Elvis. True story. True story. I interviewed Elvis Presley.
Yes.
It made his international fan club around the world.
Yeah.
They called for permission to run it. Unelected interviews of Elvis Presley. True story, folks. Bank on it.
Yeah. How many
great.
people can say that?
Not too many. Only one at a time, David.
Yeah. That's it.
Another
All right.
question is
Yeah.
your favorite wrestler.
Oh, my man, Ric Flair.
The Ricksters.
Oh, Rick
Of course,
first.
right, yeah.
And anybody's book, it's got to be Rick. I introduced him, took him to the ring at the old Charlotte Coliseum. I was dressed up. I had a new pair of pants on. So we got in the ring, and he starts fighting. Who was it that was fighting? It was
Ricky Steamboat.
No, it wasn't too clean. It was Steamboat. He wore the mask. It was a big guy.
Oh.
Andre the Giant.
No, Andre. It was. I forget that. I shouldn't forget his name. But anyway, there was a spattering of blood that was running around. I got it on my pants.
Oh, no.
And I said, I know. It was over. I said, look at my new pants. Why didn't you tell me we were going to get blood? He said, I'm sorry, Harold. I'll buy you a new pair. I said, yeah, you will. And he did. $30 pair of pants. I'm sorry. You messed me up. You're going to pay for it. Ask that camel. Fight that freaking camel.
Is that camel still living? Or do you Oh, my gosh. Well, thank you so much for coming on,
Thank
Harold,
you,
again.
David. Happy New Year to all our lovely friends out there. Folks, it's going to get better. Trust me on it. I've been around long enough to know that. The American will, the American spirit, it's alive and well in Statesville. It's all over the world. In Chicago, it still is, as long as they have people there. And that dumbass mayor refusing to say, I've got major problems here with people dying to 800, 900 a month. They're dying and getting shot. But it's America. We will stay strong despite of what we're seeing coming out of Washington. Joe Manchin, you're loved by many. Stick to your guns, Joe. Stick to your guns.
Yes, we will. We shall survive.
Harold Johnson, President 2024.
Yeah, there you go. All right, y'all. If y'all like this video, hit that thumbs up and hit subscribe. And also go on there and ask us a question or comment after the video ends, and we'll make sure Harold gets that and answers it too.
Thank you very much. We all phone calls, emails. Hey, if anybody emails me or calls me, I've returned a call. Always did. Always will. It's my last dying breath.
All right, very good. All right, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next Monday evening. Racing Roots with Ham.